I know in last stream I said I was going to be crashing out, but got a couple minutes, so we're going to real quickly work on a non-request. That is, nobody requested this build, but somebody in a global chat channel is determined to make a beam sonic corruptor. Or, sorry, not beam sonic. Beam radiation corruptor. Now, I run a sonic, a radiation sonic defender. And the build that I'm actually looking for is Rad Sonic, and the last time I looked at my Rad Sonic was last year. Alright. So here's my Rad Sonic. And the player in question, they were looking to run Spirit Ward on the way to Rune of Protection. Now, I have my own thoughts of Rune of Protection as it comes to being a pull power. It's not quite the worst pull power to build to, but it's definitely a questionable power to build to. There's not really a whole lot of payoff to using Rune of Protection. Now, the person, the exact statement was, no, this was be helping for teammates. This is for a small AV killing team. I'm a beam rifle rad corruptor. Still, Rune of Protection isn't gonna help much. It's just not an optimal way to go about being a support character. That being said, there are multiple problems at hand. The first problem is endurance consumption. While radiation does accelerate metabolism, which does give a certain amount of recovery, it's not enough, because you've also got multiple toggles on top of that. You have both enervating field and radiation infection, and lingering radiation. Let's go grab that real quick and look at it. Where are you? Okay, lingering radiation has a base endurance cost of 15.6, and there's not a whole lot of endurance reduction options. Now, there is a new slow set, Ice Mistral's Torment, which may offer some more endurance reduction options. I'm using Ice Mistral's Torment on a character, but since the set's not in PhD yet, it's kind of hard to go look up. So, anyways, Radiation Defenders, as is, plow through endurance like a hurricane. Corruptors are going to be even worse. So, a Radiation Corruptor is going to have a hard time sustaining the endurance needed to keep any build going. Now, that being said, I have made a Radiation Sonic Defender. I should be able to convert that into a beam radiation corruptor, so that's what we're going to kind of work on. And we're going to have to kind of start very quickly thinking about what powers are we not going to take, which powers are we going to skip. We're probably skipping EM Pulse. We're probably skipping Charged Shot. Or we may be skipping Single Shot. My build took combat jumping, hasten, super speed, boxing, kick, tough, weave, and maneuvers. This player wants flight, so Mystic Flight, and that's really going to limit the rest of our options significantly. So go ahead and slot in the powers we're pretty sure we're going to need. We're pretty sure we're going to need Scorpion Shield. The player wants Sorcery for Mystic Flight. And to get that, we'll need... they also want Rune of Protection. We'll go ahead and move Rune of Protection all the way down. And we'll move Spirit Ward kind of down there with it. Alright. We also probably need to pick up Hasten. Going to be looking at combat jumping for the defense. And, okay, we're already at a big problem in terms of defensive values, because we'll get some range out of boxing tough weave. Now, weave on a defender, let's lock that off and look at our effects. I'm pretty sure you can't actually see it right now because it's hidden, so we'll move that box up. Weave has a base 5% on a defender, and combat jumping has 2.5% on a defender. If we move over and look at a Corruptor on combat jumping has a base effect of 2.13, and fighting, lock weave off. Weave has a base effect of 4.25. So we're losing about 2 points of defense either way. Going to be difficult to make work. So we're kind of possibly skipping combat jumping if I check my totals. We may have enough to work with for smashing lethal, energy, fire, cold. That's presuming I don't have any boosts going on that I don't see. Okay. So we'll see how this shakes out. We'll kind of plan on skipping combat jumping right now and going with maneuvers. And we'll go ahead and fill in kick, tough, and weave. And weave will move over to 30. Tough will move to 28. Kick will move over here. Alright, maneuvers was 32. Alright. And now we will fill in our... We're already got a conflict here where we want overcharge at 32, piercing beam at 26, penetrating ray at 18, lancer shot at 12, aim, disintegrate, charge shot, cutting beam. Alright, we've only got one slot to work with to maximize our we got 2 slots to work with to maximize our powers. We want accelerate metabolism. Okay, we actually got 3. We want radiation infection and innervating field. Alright, now what can we slot around here, or do we just keep going with this? Lingering radiation, mutation, and we'll go ahead and tentatively skip choking cloud. Now that's probably not a good idea because choking cloud is being used to hold a superior entomb. So we're going to have to think about dropping something so we can pick up choking cloud. Right now the easiest thing to drop is Rune of Protection. But the player wants this, and I think they think it's going to help them. The thing is, once you've reached soft cap defense, and the earliest you can reach soft cap defense, that's going to help you significantly better than Rune of Protection. So we're going to go ahead and just drop Rune of Protection and pick up Choking Cloud. And now we're going to start trying to think about how we want to arrange things. If we want our soft caps as soon as possible, what can we move down? What can we move up? Alright, we need to keep our debuffs and buffs as early as possible. So mutate is the easiest one to move around. Where did mutate? Mutate wound up at 41, so it's already very late. Fallout wound up very late. Lingering radiation, primary debuff, so we kind of need that. I don't really have anything else. Can we move any of our attacks down? We could possibly move Piercing Beam down to get it later. Where did Piercing Beam went? Piercing Beam at 26, because it's a narrow cone. It does give us for resistance, which is useful, but radiation infection and enervating field are going to give us a bigger payoff without consuming endurance until we have more set values to work with. So we can probably move Piercing Beam down. Overcharge, we kind of want to keep where it's at. We want to move Spirit Ward, so the other one that we can probably move around is Lancer Shot, which comes in at 12. If we want to move Spirit Ward up earlier, swap Lancer Shot and Piercing Beam. Alright, and we may wind up with an impossible build. Alright, we're going to move Mutation all the way down to try and make some of these options work. Okay, Fallout and Choke Out Cloud all the way. And now we'll start filling in Radiant Aura. Pick up a 5-slot with Panacea. Actually, we got the proc in Radiant Aura. We may change this. We'll come back and work on slots in a moment. Radiation Infection. 3 slots. Alright, Accelerate Metabolism. 3 slots. Charge Shot. Give it 6 slots. Cutting Beam. Give it 6 slots. We'll go ahead and start filling in some of these. Here we have recharge time. So we'll focus on, does the Corruptor give us range? Recharge time. And this gives us PBOE. Where else did I use the 3 slot? Okay, all the way down at the end. So I got the setup where this was second. And I had Thunderstrike, bottom 3, and these were scaling. Radiant Aura skip. Cutting Beam is going to pick up Frozen Blast, because it's a targeted AoE. Alright, Mystic Flight is just going to pick up Speed Endurance. Hasten is double slot. flame is just going to get Gaussian proc, disintegrate. We'll pick up Winter's Bite, because disintegrate is going to be one of our primary debuff beams early on. Spirit Ward, we're going to leave that alone for a second. Accelerate Metabolism, got in-mod Recharge, in-mod Accuracy Recharge, and in-mod Endurance Recharge. So in-mod Recharge. And we're just plussing these all the way. Radiation Infection. It got us an Achilles heel to add some resistance. And we went 2-hit debuff Endurance. 2-hit debuff Endurance. Penetrating Ray. One other thing we've got to work with is this took Shockwave. Penetrating Ray has a faux knockdown, so we may not have to do anything with that. So we'll skip Penetrating Ray for now. Innervating Field is just going to get a single +5 reduction. Lingering Radiation is getting Accuracy slow and Endurance Recharge slow for now. Accuracy slow. Endurance Recharge slow. Or if you don't want to go for the bonus there, you can just do 2 Endurance Recharge slows. Kick, I think, is getting skipped. Where are you? Oh, this was... I took boxing. Okay. I took... that's why I didn't register. Because I used this for a melee for a blistering cold. Alright, maneuvers. Alright, since I didn't take combat jumping, I'm going to have to fit that Kismet proc in. Defense Endurance, so... Defense Endurance Recharge, Kismet proc, Tough, and Resist End, proc, Weave. I did the Scaling Resist proc here. That's Endurance. Well, slot I wanted to click on. Defense Endurance. Defense Endurance Recharge. Proc Overcharge. Now this is a TAOE. Did I use Ragnarok anywhere in the build? No, I did not use Ragnarok. So this is one we may be coming back to. Because I've already used Frozen Blast earlier. So we'll go ahead and 6-slot it out. Dreadful Will gave me an Avalanche, but I don't have an Avalanche here. And then we did Luck of the Gambler, Defense Endurance, Defense Endurance Recharge, proc, we could put the ATO in here. Which in this case we have chance for negative energy damage and recharge time at the top end. So this is actually where we are going to fit our ATO set. All right, Lancer slot, we're just going to give 3 slots to. Or we'll go ahead and fill out Choking Cloud. Alright, Fallout was picking up on Cloud Census. Alright, got okay, Piercing Beam. What are we missing? Alright, we're missing an Avalanche. We're missing a Overwhelming Force. We're missing 3 for the recharge time. Alright, so we'll put 3 into Piercing Beam. That leaves us 2 for Spirit Ward right now. Alright, we'll fit a Miracle. And Stamina is just going to be a straight and hit endurance enhancement. Okay. Alright, Lancer Shot gives us stun. Now, before I look at values, one of the things I'm considering right now is Lancer Shot does give us some extra damage and a chance to spread Disintegrate, but it doesn't actually do anything extra. Piercing Beam gives us foe resistance, and Penetrating Ray gives us some functions here. So what I'm kind of thinking right now is dropping Lancer Shot, because I think I've dropped that on my other beams, and taking Inflame, which will give me a shot at artillery and be something useful in the top end. Alright, so, okay, let's bring this back, and before we actually slot anything else, see what our actual numbers at. Now, to be fair, over on the Defender, I did have Agility Radial Paragon clicked for the extra defense, so we're still running Soft Cap to Smashing Lethal Energy and Fire Cold. Let's see what we actually look like on our defenses here. Alright, we are way down. We're Soft Cap to Energy, but we're not even close. We're 5% away on Smashing Lethal and 7% away on Fire Cold. Now, a lot of that would be made up by Avalanche. But I don't have a place to slot Avalanche right now. And I've already used Frozen Blast. I've already used Entomb. I've already used Winter's Bite. I don't have any other... I don't have any other to call on, because that's Frozen Blast as well. This would give me ranged, energy negative, but not smashing lethal. Annihilation would give me AoE, but not much to bring up Fire Cold. I really need that Avalanche to make this build work. But there's no good way to fit in Avalanche. Well, there is, but it's a really ugly one. That wouldn't quite work. Impulse does damage against robots. Cross Punch would give us a place to put Avalanche, but then again, we're now taking pool powers just to slot pool powers. We've got a massive gap to make up here, though. I thought this was going to be quick. Certainly. Differences between sets. Scan has Frozen Blast. What all do we got in here? Defense Psionic, Defense Ranged. Already using Winter's Bite. Defense Ranged. Ranged. No sets. You know what? Think I'm going to have to come back this with a different build. Because I think in order for this to work, I need to focus on ranged defense. So I'm going to cut it here and work on this later. Because I thought this was going to be quick, but obviously it's not going to be as quick as I would have wanted it to be.